What if I told you people in California are still striking gold? Not in history books, but right now. That's right. Nearly 2 centuries after the famous gold rush ended, locals are once again pulling shimmering nuggets straight from riverbeds. Some are even claiming they've made enough to buy houses. In California, of all places. Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? But here's where it gets wild. These modern prospectors aren't chasing dreams with rusty pans and pickaxes. They're fighting low river levels, unpredictable weather, and a gold market that's never been more volatile. One man, a quiet builder named Manny Goza, says he's been doing this since 2005, and that gold quite literally paid for his home. Every day he digs, pans, and hopes for that glitter in the sand. For him, gold isn't history, it's survival. But while a few are striking it rich, most are finding something else. The same obsession and heartbreak that defined the first gold rush 170 years ago. And what's happening in these rivers might reveal something bigger, a sign of where America's economy and your money could be headed next. Because this time, the gold rush isn't just about gold. It's been over 170 years since desperate dreamers poured into California chasing fortune. Most people think that era ended long ago. The dust settled, the rivers ran dry, and the story faded into textbooks. But that's not true. Today, those same rivers, like the Bear River and American River, are alive again with the sound of swirling pans and splashing water. Only this time, the miners wear hoodies, not suspenders. They film their finds for TikTok, not telegrams. Among them is Manny Goza, a local builder who traded his hammer for a shovel. He spends his days knee-deep in freezing water, panning through gravel, mud, and dreams. When Fox 40 News asked why he keeps doing it, Manny just smiled and said, "Gold's all around. I've been here since 2005, and I bought my house in 2010 because I could pay my bills off the gold." He's not exaggerating. For nearly 2 decades, Goza has made enough from those glittering flakes to survive, thrive, and build a life from the dirt beneath his feet. But here's the catch. For every prospector like Manny, there are dozens more walking away with nothing but sore backs and muddy hands. The modern gold rush is real, but it's not romantic. It's exhausting. It's uncertain. And it's brutally honest about how opportunity works in America. A few win big, while most are left digging for hope, and yet they keep coming back, because when that tiny shimmer of gold flashes under the sun, it's like lightning, a spark of what could be. But before you grab a shovel and start planning your own gold hunt, you need to understand why this new rush is happening, and the surprising force that's fueling it. Because this isn't just about adventure, it's about survival in a changing economy. At first, the rush feels electric. The promise of finding gold is enough to make anyone believe they're just one lucky scoop away from changing their life. But that's the illusion. Because the truth is, this modern gold rush isn't paved with fortune. It's paved with frustration. Ask any prospector, and they'll tell you, gold doesn't just fall into your pan. It's hours of digging through mud, hauling heavy buckets, and standing in icy water until your legs go numb. And at the end of the day, what do most people find? A few flakes, maybe a handful of dust. Sometimes absolutely nothing. As Manny Goza put it, it's emotional. Some days you find $15,000. Some days you don't find anything. Those swings, from euphoria to emptiness, are what keep people hooked. It's not so different from gambling, really. You're chasing the rush, hoping for that next hit of luck. Some call it perseverance. Others call it obsession. But deep down, every prospector knows one thing. For every strike of gold, there are hundreds of misses. And that's what makes this new rush so powerful. Not the money, but the mindset. The belief that somewhere out there, one more pan, one more dig, could change everything. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Because while people are searching rivers for gold, some of the world's richest investors are quietly hunting for something else, something that might be even more valuable. And what they're doing could explain why gold is suddenly back in the spotlight. While prospectors dig through riverbeds in search of gold flakes, something much bigger is happening behind closed doors. A new kind of gold rush is unfolding on Wall Street. The same precious metal that once lured miners across the Sierra Nevada is now captivating billionaires, hedge fund managers, and financial giants. But unlike those who swing pickaxes in the mud, these players don't get their hands dirty. They use portfolios, trading screens, and global influence. Ray Dalio, the billionaire founder of Bridgewater Associates, recently warned that people don't have enough gold in their portfolios. His message was clear. In uncertain times, gold isn't a luxury, it's protection, and he's not alone. Jeffrey Gundlach, known as the Bond King, told investors that having up to 25% of their wealth in gold isn't excessive. He called it an insurance policy, a lifeline when currencies weaken and markets shake. Even J.P. Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon added fuel to the fire, saying gold could easily reach $10,000 an ounce as inflation bites and the dollar loses strength. For everyday people, these headlines sound surreal. But to investors, they're a warning. Because when billionaires start hoarding gold, it's not greed, it's fear. And here's the kicker. Gold prices have surged more than 50% in just a year. That's not a coincidence. It's a signal. A sign that even the most powerful people in finance are hedging against what might be coming next. So while locals in California pan rivers for nuggets, Wall Street is quietly doing the same, except their river is the global market. And the gold they're chasing isn't just metal, it's security. But what's driving this sudden panic among the wealthy? Why are so many betting on gold now of all times? The answer lies in something far more unsettling. A truth about the dollar and what it's really worth today. To understand why gold is exploding in value, you have to look at the other side of the scale, the U.S. dollar. For generations, the dollar has been the world's strongest currency. It's what other nations measured their economies against, the global standard for power, trust, and stability. But over time, that strength has started to erode. Quietly at first, and now, unmistakably. According to data from the Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis, $100 today has the same buying power as just $12.05 did in 1970. That means the dollar has lost nearly 90% of its value in half a century. Think about that. Every year, your money buys a little less. Groceries cost more. Gas costs more. Even rent and insurance have climbed to record highs. But gold? Gold hasn't lost value. It's gained it. That's why people like Ray Dalio and Jamie Dimon aren't just investing in gold for fun. They're protecting themselves from a reality most people ignore. Paper money always loses value. And when inflation spikes or governments print more cash, gold doesn't flinch, it shines. It's finite, it's tangible, and it's immune to political decisions or central bank mistakes. The surge in gold prices isn't just about excitement or speculation, it's about fear. Fear that the dollar's decline could accelerate and that traditional savings won't keep up. Even everyday Americans are feeling it. People like Manny Goza, the prospector who once dug for gold just to pay bills, are now realizing that the same metal they pull from rivers might be safer than the cash in their wallets. But here's where things get interesting. While gold protects wealth, another asset has quietly been doing something just as powerful, helping regular people grow it. And this second gold rush isn't happening in rivers. It's happening in real estate. While gold protects wealth, real estate builds it. And in 2025, that's exactly what savvy investors are chasing. The new kind of gold that pays you every month. Just like the prospectors of the 1800s, modern investors are on the hunt for opportunity. But instead of panning rivers, they're searching for properties. And instead of gambling on luck, they're building predictable income. Look at the numbers. Over the past 5 years, U.S. home prices have surged nearly 50%, according to the Case-Shiller Index. Even as mortgage rates climb, real estate continues to prove something powerful. People always need a place to live. When inflation rises, housing values often rise with it. Rent prices follow too, turning property owners into inflation survivors. That's why investors from Silicon Valley to Wall Street are quietly shifting their focus from crypto and stocks to something more stable: land, homes, and buildings. But here's the twist. You don't have to be a millionaire to join them anymore. Platforms like Arrived are changing the game, letting everyday people invest in shares of rental homes for as little as $100. No leaky roofs, no midnight tenant calls, just passive income and long-term appreciation. Even Jeff Bezos, yes, that Jeff Bezos, is backing this new real estate model. And that should tell you something. The real gold rush isn't about finding shiny metal. It's about owning assets that keep growing while you sleep. Meanwhile, companies like First National Realty Partners, FNRP, are opening doors for accredited investors to own pieces of commercial properties leased to giants like Whole Foods and Kroger. Thanks to triple net leases, investors don't worry about maintenance or tenant costs. They just collect steady income. So while gold offers safety, real estate offers freedom. One protects your wealth, the other multiplies it. But here's the real question. With gold soaring and housing prices climbing, which will win in the long run, the timeless metal or the ever-growing land beneath our feet? The answer might surprise you, because it's not about choosing one over the other. It's about understanding how the two can work together to build lasting wealth. Here's something most people miss. The world's wealthiest investors don't choose between gold and real estate. They own both. And that's not a coincidence. It's a strategy. Gold and real estate might seem like opposites. One is shiny and ancient, the other solid and modern. But together, they form one of the most powerful wealth protection systems in history. Think about it. When the economy is booming, real estate grows. Rents go up, properties appreciate, and investors cash in. But when markets crash or inflation hits, gold steps in to protect that value. It's a perfect balance. One thrives in chaos, the other in stability. That's why names like Ray Dalio, Warren Buffett, and Robert Kiyosaki have always emphasized the importance of owning real assets. They understand that paper money, no matter how strong it seems, always loses purchasing power over time. But gold and property, they stand the test of time. Even during crises, recessions, wars, stock market collapses, these assets hold value when everything else falls apart. That's why the wealthy aren't just reacting to trends. They're building moats around their fortunes. And here's the kicker. It's not just about wealth preservation anymore. With tools like gold IRAs and real estate crowdfunding, ordinary investors can now use the same strategies the rich have relied on for decades. You can protect your savings, grow your portfolio, and build real financial independence, all without needing millions in the bank. It's what experts call the dual shield strategy. Gold shields you from inflation. Real estate shields you from volatility. Together, they create resilience, the kind that lets you sleep peacefully no matter what headlines say. But what does this all mean for the average person? For those who aren't billionaires, hedge fund managers, or tech moguls? It means opportunity, the kind that could change your future if you act on it. Because as the dollar weakens and markets shift, the people who adapt, who learn to think like the rich, will be the ones who come out on top. At first glance, this might just seem like another story about gold. People digging in rivers, investors chasing profits, and experts predicting where prices will go next. But the truth runs deeper than that. The modern gold rush isn't just about metal, it's about mindset. In the 1850s, thousands of people left everything behind to chase a dream in California's rivers. Most didn't strike it rich. But the ones who did understood something timeless. Wealth favors those who act, not those who wait. Fast forward to today, and the story hasn't changed much. The tools are different. Gold IRAs, real estate platforms, online investments. But the principle is the same. While most people sit back, worrying about inflation or waiting for the right time, others are already building, diversifying, and protecting their future. The lesson isn't about gambling or luck. It's about awareness, understanding how money moves, where value hides, and how to position yourself before the crowd catches on. Gold represents security. Real estate represents growth. Together, they represent a roadmap for financial independence in a world where the dollar's power keeps fading. Manny Goza, the man who literally dug his way to a house, might not be a Wall Street name, but his story is proof that opportunity never truly disappears. It just changes form. Whether it's in the dirt, in the market, or in your own mindset, the new gold rush isn't about chasing quick riches. It's about learning to see value before everyone else does. So the next time you hear about someone striking gold, remember, the real treasure isn't buried in the ground. It's in knowing how to turn uncertainty into advantage. Because in every era, from the gold pans of the 1800s to the digital portfolios of today, the richest people aren't the ones who find gold. They're the ones who recognize it.